beginning of the movement this city has longed for. Let's join in solidarity with our Latino families who still remain, our African American allies who have dwindled down to less than 6% of the population in San Francisco, our Asian families in North Beach and Chinatown who are still getting evicted. We are pointing the finger where it belongs. We are pointing the fingers at the policymakers in room 200 and in City Hall. And my final words tonight are these. We will not be co-opted. We will not be evicted. And we will not stop fighting until we take back City Hall. And is that a threat? No, it's not a threat. It's a promise. We will not stop fighting until we take City Hall back. Thank you. And long live Harvey Milk and George Moscone.
I have no doubt that Harvey would be pleased by the progress we've made in some areas. It's hard to imagine what they would think of this city 35 years later. When they died, there were no cell phones, there's no HIV. Our city's changed, our world's changed, but Harvey's message, I think, is universal.
Yes, sir.
And I think that Harvey's heart would be broken by what's going down in Russia right now. And I think he'd be speaking out about that. And on Friday morning, Gus Van Sant, the director of Milk, Bruce Cohen, one of the producers, and Dustin Lance Black, the screenwriter, are taking Milk to Russia. To screen Please welcome Academy Award winner Dustin Lance Black.
Hello, San Francisco. I'm so glad I get to see your beautiful faces before I go and meet Pussy Riot in prison. That's right. Now here, I have a question. There's so many beautiful faces in the crowd, and I wonder how many of you at a very young age knew there was something different about you. I did. I was 6 years old when I knew I was gay. And I knew there was words for it already because I grew up in Texas and I'd heard words like faggot and cocksucker thrown at me. And I'd heard from the prophet of my Mormon church that I was going to hell, that I was right down there with all the sinners and the murderers and the rapists, all 3'4" of me. And I did what so many kids do, what so many of you I'm sure did. I shrank and I hid and I got quiet and dark. And then one day, a theater professor who now lives in this beautiful city, he played me a recording. And on that recording was a man giving a speech in my hometown of San Antonio, and it went something like this. He said, somewhere out there in Des Moines or San Antonio, there is a young person who all of a sudden realizes that he or she is gay. And they know that if anyone finds out, that they'll be tossed out of the house, they'll be harassed. And that child has several options: to stay in the closet or suicide. And then one day, that child might open up the papers and read homosexual elected in San Francisco, and there are two new options. One is to come to San Francisco, and the other is to go to San Antonio and fight.
Go to Russia.
And for the very first time in my life, I lit up inside, and I was filled with this thing called hope. And that man's name was Harvey Bernard Milk, and 10 years after his assassination, he gave me hope. He gave me my life back, and we are here tonight to honor that memory, to honor that gift that he is still giving. Even though his voice was silenced, it will never be silent, will it? We will not let it. Now, I often get asked, what would Harvey Milk say if he was here today? And I don't like to answer that question. I don't know the answer to that question, and we don't necessarily even need to answer that question, do we? Because we have his words. And I will tell you one thing, that hope that he gave me, it is not mine. That hope that he gave me is not just for me. It is not just for the LGBT community either. That hope was for all of the us's out there. Harvey Milk himself fought for the racial minority groups, for the women's groups, for the disabled, just as hard as he fought for our community, the LGBT community. Because he believed in a thing called the coalition of the us's. He believed in a city made up of very different people, people from all different races, all different creeds, all different socioeconomic places. Because he believed it made us stronger. So what would he say? I say, what did he say? This is a man that was priced out of his own camera shop, the camera shop that we celebrate. And he said, no, you cannot have growth without vision. Growth is not good on its own. You have to have a vision for a city, and the vision of that city has to include all of the us's. And if it doesn't include all of the us's, and we just let things grow without vision, we may wake up one day and the city that we all love will be gone. And we can't let that happen. And how do we keep it from happening? I'll tell you. We listened to Harvey again. He talked endlessly about the power of the coalition of the us's. Yes. That when we come together, we are unbeatable. And right now, I'll tell you this, the LGBT community on this eve of Thanksgiving, we have so much to be thankful for, don't we? Yeah. Yes. But we cannot become complacent and we cannot become myopic. I'm telling you, we have to take the strength and the wisdom that we have earned and that we have learned, and we have to take it. In the words of JFK, we have to go to our brothers and our sisters in the other communities that are under attack, that are being priced out of the city. We have to go to them and ask not what they can do for us, but what we can do for them. And the us's, as Harvey Milk said, 35 years ago, the us's must come together again now, today, to preserve the vision of this great city of diversity, the city that welcomes all, no matter who they are. Keep San Francisco a beacon of hope for all across the world. Please, tonight, hear the words of Harvey Milk and get the us's back together again and keep spreading hope. Keep spreading hope. Keep spreading hope.